Today we will talk about XRP and the extremely real possibility and probability of an XRP ETF, because it does have judicial clarity at this point in time, and the fact that XRP as an asset itself is not a security is not in question. So let's go right into the talking head of ETFs at this point in time has to say on that.
We're legitimizing it. We're creating more safety.
Well, let me ask you this. Will you do another ETF? How about an XRP ETF? I know you got Ether out there. How about XRP? Can you answer that?
I can't. And you don't want me to.
I do.
Well, I can't.
All right. They're giving me the rap. Thank you.
And there are a lot of reasons for that, which we will cover here. But that is not a point to say that he does not know about it. So here's a clip that is explaining how it is becoming a mainstream topic that companies and financial institutions will have to need a coin that can bridge capital, and that it looks like it is coming. And there are particular tokens and assets that are concentrating on that, things like XRP and XLM.
No, I would agree, because we haven't yet made the jump where there is institutional buy-in. And I like to use the example, if the Bank of Mitsubishi in Tokyo needs to transfer $100 million worth of yen to the New York branch and convert it to dollars, you need $100 million worth of yen in Tokyo and $100 million worth of dollars in New York. You're tying up $200 million in capital. If you can attach that to a coin, it's simultaneously, so the bank frees up half the capital. That's a big deal. But we haven't made that jump yet.
Yeah, but it looks like it's coming, doesn't it?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are a couple of assets and companies that are concentrating on that, and especially on the wholesale side, that is XRP. Now, it can be argued that XLM has a tie into the wholesale and the more financial institution end of things, and that is 100% accurate. But XRP is really the one who has been connecting themselves into that space for a very long time now. So that was this one, and then we go into a different one that is talking about real-time settlements with the ETF as the holy grail.
Would you be buying a Bitcoin ETF?
So let me change that topic. Let's talk about Bitcoin ETF for a minute. I think we've missed a really important component, the whole approval process of Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETF.
Which is?
What's really behind approving a Bitcoin ETF that made it so interesting? Bitcoin is traded in the blockchain and settles real time. Everything traded on an exchange in the United States is traded and settles T+2.
Yeah.
We now have introduced real-time settlement into the exchange system in the United States. That is a big move, and I think that's something that the SEC was having to deal with in approving Bitcoin. So now you've got an ETF that the underlying trades real-time and settles real-time, and you put that in a wrapper that settles T+2. Is this the day where we're going to say, in the future, when we get to real-time settlement and real-time trading, and we trade that way on the stock exchange, and is this the day where it's starting?
And I would think that that is true. There are projects and tokens out there that are already working on tokenizing that. In fact, I would say that at this point in time, I think that XDC is probably the utmost example of that, because they are actually working on tokenizing those kinds of exchanges right now. So it doesn't take much to remind us that XRP as an ETF is coming this year. It already exists. Grayscale will most likely be the one with the largest assets under management when the race kicks off because they're so far ahead. This is only one example of that. And here it shows that they do in fact have XRP. So there will likely be some kinds of regulatory clarity that come out to enable this to happen even quicker. And the term that is tossed around a lot, especially with things like XRP and even XLM, is a level playing field. That term has been used over and over again by very large organizations and worldwide financial institutions who have a lot of ties into XRP, and that can't be ignored in my opinion, because when you look at the value of what Ripple has done so far, yes, the actual token of XRP itself hasn't had amazingly impressive price action for a very long time now. However, I look at things like what the actual company is working on and how they are establishing things in order to make them prepared to be a top choice once everything is actually ready to go. And here is a graphic I found that Dom posted a while back. This is all of the advancements just in 2023 as far as the adoption of crypto and the overall tokenization of assets go by very large people. We have HSBC on here. We have Microsoft. We have a couple of banks right here. We have a couple of more here. It's just over and over again, and it's not about to stop. So Ripple's XRP was meant to be a currency, not an ETF. Okay, but I could say the same thing about gold as well. It can be a form of currency, but it's not just that. It is a part of a technological platform. So even though it can act that way, that does not mean that it is just that. And but the point that I want to make here is the ties into Vanguard. They have been causing some problems for their institutional investors because they have not been wanting to actually offer a Bitcoin ETF, which I think is really interesting, and I think it is a part of a much larger plan, because Vanguard is essentially an arm of BlackRock. And if you look into all of the companies that are heavily tied into Vanguard and BlackRock, you get tons of connections into Ripple and XRP. And I think that they are performing some long-term manipulation here, and it's not just XRP. You've got ties into XDC, and there are some connections into XLM here as well, especially because XRP and XLM have been incredibly intertwined. So here is a little bit more from the CEO of BlackRock, but it's more his comments on crypto overall, which are very opposite of the kinds of things that were being explained, I would say even 1 year ago at this point. So if you're fearful of your government or worrying that they are devaluing currency, then you could see this as a great potential long-term investment. It's like digital gold. Bitcoin is a ledger, but it's an international one that is cross-border. It is bigger than any government. The advent of the Bitcoin ETF is an example that we are legitimizing this asset class, which is 100% the point that I am the most interested in at this point in time. So to go further in the BlackRock connections, the head of global digital assets actually comes from Ripple, and the point that BlackRock is not interested in XRP is just not a very good argument to make, in my own humble opinion.
Most transformative, right? It's also, in some ways, the furthest afield from being able to kind of have widespread adoption, but unlike, in the early days, permission blockchain use case here or crypto here, there's not one institution in finance who doesn't have some path to being disrupted by DeFi, right? So everything else has been a mix of kind of opportunities and maybe threats. DeFi forces everyone to say, what does this mean for us if this actually happens? So everybody's paying attention. You're just not at the point yet where you've got kind of banks and asset managers.
Yeah. And then to end this off, this is about the CEO of BlackRock again, but these comments are very interesting and are the same ones in here. And if he is positioning himself in a way that looks as if he is providing an option for a form of currency or a form of value that is oppositional to governments, that makes me very skeptical. I think that he is positioning himself this way because his company is essentially one of the most powerful quasi-governments on Earth, because they own practically everything. And for them not to get involved with an asset like XRP, that is its entire core use case is being hinted at more and more often now, I just don't see how that does not mean that the adoption of XRP, not only in an ETF, the actual adoption of it will not actually happen.